Hey, how you doing? Today we're looking at the band Talon. So first album came out in 1984, and they had this mascot. He was kind of like a knight with a sword, and he appears on all their albums in, different forms. And I love the way they write their name too. It's just awesome. Oh, frog o'clock. Bluey. Well, the frogs are woken up tonight. I think this is Hatred Grows Slowly. Really strong song. You've got lead guitar and vocals, Uwe Hoffman. Then Steve Hohenberger lead guitar. And then you got Andy Hammond bass, and the drummer, his name is H. Buddha Wartenbach. So yeah, sort of funny name. It looks like they're from Germany. These guys have been compared to Scorpions, and except they're even sort of their contemporaries in some ways, toured together. They just put out 3 albums. Yeah, Hatred Grows Slowly. Then the second song is Neutralized, the title track. Insert. Great pics of them. Their drummer shape. Yeah, back in the 80s, I would call this speed metal, so Euro speed metal. Great music. In America, you had a lot of sort of glam metal, and then England, you had Priest and Maiden and the Motorhead. But yeah, Europe was just amazing. Sort of real true metal. Yeah, this album came out 85 according to Discogs, but it says 84 on here. And it's like a $40 record. Goes up though in price, if it's in good condition. But the band, there's not a lot of info about them. It's just, that they're a German heavy metal band. They're active from 82 to 88, and then they reformed in 2017. They've got their own website. So they just put out 3 albums from 84 to 86, and then they put a CD out, which was a couple of albums on that. That's how I found out about them, I think late 90s. I used to just listen to it all the time. And Hatred Grows Slowly was released as a single in 84, so that might have been before the album got dropped. So you had Hatred Grows Slowly and Time Could Not Heal. They're both on this album. So the next album had the knight sitting on a metallic winged horse. Awesome album cover. Looks like it's hand painted. And this one's on Steamhammer, so obviously they'd been noticed by this time and on a bigger label probably. It's awesome album artwork. Every song's killer. I love the way they write their names, awesome. And on the back, another painting. Should be an awesome gatefold actually. So yeah, it starts off with the title track, Never Look Back. A lot of good songs. Nearly every song, is super classic. And I think the lineup probably stayed the same except for the drummer. Yeah, so the first album, the bass guitarist is called Andy Hammond, but then on this second album they call him Andre Hammond. But the vocalist and the guitarist is still the same. And they got a new drummer, his name's Tommy Resch. Yeah, this one was 85. Down the bottom, sort of an interesting little note. They say very special thanks to Nazareth and Lee Aaron for support. So they probably toured with them. It's got the insert. sound awesome. Just every single song's like this. Not a bad song on it. Yeah, I picked these up in Shinjuku, so they weren't cheap, you know, they're not a common record. So this second album, Never Look Back, it got released in '85. Once again, you know, 40 to 70 here in Japan, price-wise. It's not a cheap one. It didn't come out with an OB or anything like that. There are not many around though. Like, you know, you can only really buy them in Europe on Discogs. Just let the next song play. I might just play my favorite song on the album. It's called Lost in Reality. Sort of, you know, it's a power ballad, but really well done. So yeah, struggling to find out any information on this band. Apart from one band member, you know, who went into a modern metal band, not a lot's known. Andy Hammond, so he's got the band going again these days. He was only ever in Talon. And then Uwe Hoffmann, he had been in Headhunter. There's a bit of a Crocus connection, the singer. And another band called Railroad. Tommy Resch, the drummer, he had played with Matt Sinner. Yeah, these guys, apparently they get compared to Judas Priest, Ostergaroth, Accept, Fisk, Gravestone, Steeler, Veto, and even Gotham City. So sort of that classic heavy metal sound. Alright, so the next album they put out, they got in a new guitarist. And I reckon this is their heaviest album. Actually, it's their final album, you know, for the 80s. But the singer, you know, he really changed. He sort of sounded a bit like Brian Johnson from AC/DC. This one feels very heavy. It's like 180 gram nearly. Still on Steam Hammer. So you see the knight is sort of on cards now, probably tarot cards. Sort of like, I like how the way they morphed the knight into different positions, each album cover. She's got pretty long nails. Then on the back you got the band on playing cards, so maybe they're not tarot cards. Yeah, it starts out with, you know, a typical heavy metal intro, which is called Intro. And then it goes into Vicious Game, which is the title track. This one I think was 86. Yeah, 86. Perfect start to an album. You got the insert again. So you notice they didn't write their name in red this time, it's in white. Yeah, the insert's good condition. Just going down, seeing if anything stands out. Yeah, in the notes they thank Saxon and Lee Aaron. So yeah, you've still got, like, the band's changed a bit. You've got Tommy Resch still on drums, then you got Andrew Hammond still on bass, Uwe Hoffmann's in the band, and then the singer is Peter Hader, so I'm pretty sure it's a different singer. Like, he sounds so different to the last album. And then you've got a new guitarist called Robbie Bobo. So he went on to be in Frontline later. and I think a band called State of the Rock. But this album is actually called The State of Rock. This singer is real killer. Like, he sort of got that real evil, high way of singing. So yeah, it must be a different singer for sure. So I guess, you know, the previous singer would have been, you know, he was playing guitar as well. So they sort of ramped things up for this third album. You know, they went heavier, got in a new member. But it was actually their last album, unfortunately. He's got an evil voice. Yeah, apparently 2017 the band got back together. It was their first show in 30 years. They played some big festivals in Europe. See, this album, Vicious Game, it's got a pretty high rating, like on the heavy metal sites. Yeah, it got released 12-inch vinyl and cassette. Then it got re-released in the same year. Then it was popular. And then 2010, it came out on unofficial CD. And then this year, actually, it got released digitally. So there's some demand for it. This guy's voice is amazing. So on Discogs, once again, it's 30 to 60 plus record. Not many around, you know, only in Europe. So I was really lucky to pick it up over here. I have noticed there's a lot of European guys coming over here selling records, so you get lucky. So when they say vicious game, they pronounce it vicious. So it's that European accent, but you know, it's all good. Second song is Fever. This is a really good song. Once again, you know, so many good songs on it. Rough and Ready, side 2, Push It. Awesome songs. See, I had the CD with the second and third album, so recently I was able to get this first album, which is good. But yeah, this third album is the one. It's just really heavy. Yeah, the band haven't put a new album out. It's funny, you know, they're playing festivals again. You'd reckon they would record something new, make a bit of money. They just got these first 3 albums. That's strange. Yeah, apparently they're from Germany, Bavaria. I don't get sick of these guys. Listen to them all the time. Got a Facebook page. I'm just clicking on it. See if it's active. Yeah, it's active. They've got quite a few followers. And yeah, they haven't been active lately. I think COVID knocked everybody down. On the Facebook page, the founding drummer, Hubert Buddha Wattenbach, he died 25th of October 2022. Rest in peace. And then the guitarist, Robbie Goldell, he died in July. So, you know, he was in frontline. So yeah, everybody's getting old, and I just saw a tour poster when they were touring with Saxon. It looks like one of, you know, the mid-80s Saxon albums, and they were supporting Saxon with Killer. That was in '86. Their image was a little bit dicey, and I'm just looking at some old black and white pics. You know, bullet belts and stud wristbands and, you know, leather hats, but then pull-up socks over jeans and sneakers and wispy moustaches. So, you know, they probably could have had a bit of a more uniform image. It would have helped them. Yeah, a lot of really good pictures on their website, on their Facebook page. Alright, so I'm just going to play one more CD with Bobby Bellbell. So yeah, I actually had this on like a download probably 10 years ago or something. I loved it. Had no idea there was a Talon connection. It's sort of the modern melodic metal, melodic rock you might even say, that all the bands are doing these days. But really well done. So yeah, you can get this one with an overstrip, this CD, but it's quite expensive. So I'm happy with this without it. I don't even know if this is the Japanese version, to be honest. Folds right out like a typical CD. So you've got Robbie Bellbell, I think, first guy. Yeah, perfect music. Just going through it, seeing if anything stands out. Who they think. You don't really thank other bands. Yeah, big choruses. This song is called Heaven Knows. Every single song's great. I'll play the next one. This is The Night Comes Over You. It's perfection, really. It's awesome. You know, bit of synth or keyboards in there. So this one was 1994 actually. It sort of sounds like a 2000s album. But yeah, 1994. So not that long after Talon finished up. The band Frontline, they were from Bavaria, Germany. They started in '89. And this was their first album. And then they put out a couple more albums in the 90s. Then 2000 they put out 5 albums, and their most recent album was this year called Rebirth. It's nearly got the same cover, but you know, all new music. So they must have replaced Robbie Bellbell. Heading over to Facebook. Yeah, they look very different. You know, most of them have got short hair and beards. The singer doesn't look very metal. Like he sort of looks, you know, very modern rock looking. I'll just play a song off the new album. It's going to be Burning Horizon. Yeah, very AOR. Play a second song. Yeah, very smooth. Doesn't really have that sort of heavy metal vibe to it, but still very good. Anyway, hope you like this video, and yeah, check out Frontline and check out Talon for sure. Thanks for watching. See you next time.